Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Making Business Personal. I'm Jason Weiss. I want you to think about a moment in your life, and maybe you've had a few, when you were in a meeting or you were in a new role or in a new environment, and you looked around the table, you looked around the room, and you thought to yourself, I don't belong here. Maybe it was a big promotion. Maybe it was just a new experience. But instead of feeling proud, you felt this annoying anxiety that at any moment, someone was going to tap you on the shoulder and they were going to say, you know what? We made a mistake. We found you out. You just don't belong here. And that feeling, that moment of self-doubt, that's what we all call imposter syndrome. But what if I told you that feeling isn't a bad thing? What if I told you that that feeling of self-doubt was a sign of growth? Because there's a good chance that that feeling is a sign that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Because the truth is, you're not an imposter. You're just growing. So let's grab a proverbial beer and let's dive in. I was on this project a few years ago, and the company was trying to build a whole new product. They put their best people on it. This was their A team. They were the rock stars. And quite frankly, they were struggling. And they weren't struggling because they weren't smart enough. These were the smartest people in the building. But you see, they were all so busy trying to prove that they belonged there, that they should be in the room, that they weren't asking the hard questions. They were all faking it. And in doing so, they were making it a hell of a lot harder to actually make the thing they were trying to make. So I was talking to the team leader, and this person was one of the most well-respected engineers in the whole company. She pulled me aside and she said, Jason, I feel like I'm just like playing a role here, like I'm pretending to know what I'm doing, and I'm just waiting for people to see right through me. I'm waiting for them to realize that I'm just making this up as I go. So I looked at her and I said, I mean, join the club, Sarah. I mean, but let me ask you something. I said, when's the last time you felt this way? You had these same feelings. And after about a minute, she said she felt this exact same way the first day of this current job that she had now. She felt this way the first day of graduate school, and she also felt this way when she started her first internship after graduate school. You see, that's the thing right there. The feeling of being an imposter is directly correlated with a moment of growth. It's like a growth ring in a tree. You don't get new rings when you're coasting. You get new rings when you push past your comfort zone. When you're moving into an area that's uncomfortable, it's unknown, and quite frankly, it's a little bit scary. So, what if we just change the way we talk about it? What if instead of calling it imposter syndrome, we call it the growth signal? Because that's what it is. It's your brain just saying, whoa, slow down, man. I mean, look, we haven't done this before and it's new territory and we don't have all the answers. So let's just pump the brakes. It can be a little tricky. It's risky. But you see, that's not a sign that you're an imposter. That's a sign that you're in the process of becoming something more than you currently are. You see, we have this mental model in our heads that a high performer is someone who's always confident. They always have the answer and they never doubt themselves. But that person doesn't exist. That person's a myth. If that person exists in real life, it's because that's literally the definition of being a narcissist. Truly exceptional people, at least the ones I know, aren't the ones who never doubt. They're the ones who recognize that doubt is a signal to lean in. They don't let it paralyze them, they let it guide them. So, how do you do that? How do you take this feeling of doubt that we all feel and turn it into something useful? How do you reframe imposter syndrome from a weakness into a superpower? Well, there's three actionable steps that you can take. The first thing is you need to separate that feeling from the actual facts. When you're in that moment of self doubt, when that voice in your head says you don't belong here, you just want to say one simple thing back to that voice. Just say, thank you for sharing. But don't argue with it, don't fight it, because that's a losing battle. You just want to acknowledge that voice in your head. Say, thank you for sharing, but I've decided to focus on the facts. You see, the feeling is I feel like I'm not good enough. But the fact is, I was chosen for this role because of who I am, because of what I bring forward, because of my past experiences, because the company has a vested interest in my success, and because my team relies on me to show up, etc., etc. You see, you need to have this mental fact checking list and write it down if you have to. Here's some questions that you can ask yourself. What are the objective reasons that you are where you are? What have you accomplished? Who have you helped? What skills have you developed that have helped you? And if you have a hard time doing this, just go to your LinkedIn profile. Read the recommendations that people have written about you. Now, that's not bragging, that's data. That's a fact check. You see, the feeling, that's temporary, but the facts, those are real. Now, second, you need to turn the spotlight from you to the service that you provide. You see, imposter syndrome is an incredibly self centered emotion. It's all about I, right? I feel like an imposter. I'm going to be found out. I'm not good enough. But the fastest way to get out of your own head is to start focusing on other people. What if you took that anxious energy and you directed it towards a single question? How can I be of service right now? So, if you're in a meeting and you feel like you don't belong there, ask a question that might help somebody else. So, if like a junior team member is struggling, go help them. If a colleague's having a bad day, ask them if they need a hand. You see, when you shift your focus from your own internal state to the external world, you don't have time to worry about being found out. You're too busy helping. And in the process of serving others, you're going to start to remember why you were put in that position in the first place to create value for other people. And finally, you need to embrace a beginner's mindset. Now, this concept has been around for centuries, and it's incredibly relevant today. A beginner's mindset means that you have no expectations, you have no ego. It's the mindset of a learner. And that means that it's okay not to know everything. In fact, that becomes essential. High performers are often afraid to say, I don't know, because they think that it's a sign of weakness. But you see, truly great leaders, truly great innovators, they're the ones who are constantly asking questions. They're the ones who are brave enough to say, I'm not sure. So let's go find out together. So the next time you're facing a new challenge and that imposter feeling creeps in, I want you to just try this simple action. You can publicly state that you're in a learning phase. You could say something like, hey, this is new for me, but I'm excited to dive in and I'm excited to learn along all of you. You see, when you take the pressure off yourself to have all the answers, you free up your mental bandwidth to actually find the answers. And you also make it okay for everyone else to be in a learning phase too. You're giving them permission to be imperfect. And that, in and of itself, is a truly powerful act of leadership. So the next time that little voice whispers in your ear that you're an imposter, don't fight it. Don't argue with it. Just take a moment, feel it, and then reframe it. Say to yourself, this feeling isn't a sign that I'm fake. This feeling is a signal that I'm growing. And growth is exactly what I'm here to do. Well, all right. That's it for episode 42. 42. That's the answer. So you let me know if you know the question. And if you get that, your ace is in my book. So thank you as always for listening. And if you got something out of this episode, if it made you think a little differently, please share it with anyone you know who might benefit from hearing it too. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button. It helps more than you know. And as always, leave a comment and a like. They just mean the world to me. Now, don't forget to come back this Thursday because I'm going to be sitting down with the brilliant Caitlin Sarian. She's a cybersecurity influencer and expert. She was recently invited to a general meeting of the United Nations, and she is a big deal. So, we're going to talk about the human side of cybersecurity, the psychology behind it, and why the biggest threat to your business isn't a hacker, it's you. So, trust me, you're not going to miss this one. So, that's it for today. I'll see you on Thursday on Making Business Personal. And always, or as always, thanks for listening. Bye bye.